Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another Vivor tool review, or rather a re-review. 2 weeks ago I did a review on a Vivor 5-inch milling machine vise, and there was one or two things I didn't show on the video, one or two critical measurements. I did them, I just didn't show them. So I've got a 4-inch vise which is exactly the same but smaller, and I'm going to do a review on this vise because I was that impressed with the first one. I've asked for a 4-inch vise to keep for myself. Before we start, there's one or two things I want to make perfectly clear from the onset. I don't work for Vivor. I don't get paid off Vivor for doing this video review. What I do get to do is keep the vise. Simple as that. So that's enough talking. We'll go through basically what I went through in the last time, but that is one or two more tests and I'll go into a little bit more detail. Right, in true review style, we'll do a box opening. I've already cut the box open, I know exactly what's in here. Set of instructions. There's a bag containing some T-bolts and some little square pieces to line things up with. Put them to one side. Handle. Like I see, I keep losing handles. It's only a hex, looks like a 13mm hex. Right, there's the vise proper. It is smaller than the last one, but it's still quite a heavy little unit. And it is a much better size for my milling machine. All these machine faces are nicely radiused except those ones there. They're really sharp. I'll go across them with a file or a stone, just knock the sharp edges off. Like I say, it's exactly the same, just on a slightly smaller scale. The jaws are 4 inches wide, as you'd expect, you know, it's a 4-inch vise. This is one thing I like. It's better than mine. At least the other vise opened a lot further. Right, so we've got 4.5 inches, and I think mine's only got 3, so straight away that's a big improvement. The tests I didn't carry out were the flatness of those two, how level they are in that vise jaw there, being at a straight 90 degrees to the job. So that there is going to be a true 90 degrees. So that's one of the tests we're going to do. It comes on a swivel base. Chances are I won't use a swivel base, I'll take it off. But we'll clamp it down on the base first, just to do some accuracy tests, and then we'll go from there. These clamp down nuts are 17, the ones on the bigger vise are 19. It is exactly the same, just smaller. It's much better fit on this machine actually. I'll put a couple of T-bolts into there and then we'll have a little bit play around with it and see what sort of accuracy readings we get out of it. You don't get supplied with T-bolts, but I'm going to use mine because I know that they fit the slots very nicely. There's graduations on here, they're quite nicely marked. See, the bolts are slightly too long, I can't get a full rotation on them, but we need those bolts shortened a little bit or use the bolts that's supplied with it. But that's not the end of the world by any stretch. Right, so we'll lock this up. Right, nice and solid as you'd expect. Little bit of play there, that doesn't matter. The important thing is you've got no lift on the jaw. It is cleverly designed as much as it's got a hook on the front, so when you tighten up it actually pulls the jaw down into the job, because often you get what they call jaw lift. That one lifts up, but it doesn't happen with its vise, as I'll demonstrate a little bit later on. Right, this is the first and probably the most important test, the one I didn't show on the last vase. This is the test bar. Make sure it's nice and clean, make sure those faces there are clean, and I want to make sure that those faces there are parallel to the bed of the machine. I'm simply going to lie that in there. I'm not going to fasten it in, just lie it there. I'm going to put a clock gauge onto there like that. Right, we'll bring it to a 0 all the way to this end, all the way to that end first. Right, so we'll 0 it out. We'll bring it along this way, and it should read the same that end as it does that end. That's 8 inches long, so it's going to be quite a... Right, so that hasn't moved. A little bit there, but I think that is a mark on there. I'll move it across onto the other side. Right, it's good, it's the same, it's level. It doesn't matter about the vase jaw really, it matters about that, and it matters about that jaw there being a true 90 degrees to the vase. We're going to check that next. This is the test setup. Everyone's relying on how accurate that back jaw is. So it's pushed against there, I've got a clock on, move the bed up and down and see if that gauge moves. Right, I'm absolutely astounded. That's 1 thou. Thou and a half. Two thou over 6 inches. It's not a great lot really. Up to now I'm really impressed with that. I wasn't expecting that to be as good as that. One thing I can do when I'm here and I've got the camera set up, I can check this jaw for what they call jaw lift. So what we'll do, we'll put the right, we'll put something into the vase. Something like that. We'll tighten the vase up and see if that gauge moves. I'll just 0 the gauge. 0. Then we'll tighten the vase up and see if that in fact does move. Normally you'd be holding that down. Right, so tighten the vase. It doesn't lift up. That jaw didn't lift. On my vase it definitely does lift up. Like I say, the design of this, it's actually pulling the jaw down onto the base. That's clever. It hasn't moved. Right on the very end, so we'll get the full benefit. Just sure that it is zeroed out. Right, tighten the vase again. No lift, and that's on the bottom of the jaws, and that feels really positive. That's got a good grip. This face is nice. No horrible grinder marks or chisel marks. Nicely machined. Like I say, I normally don't use the base. But if you didn't have a rotating table, you could use that to mark out whole circles, I suppose. It has got its uses. Nicely machined underneath, and it has got slots in to put the little dogs in that line up on the keyways. Nice heavy cast, and it's not all hollowed out, all ground. Nice job. Right, we'll have a look underneath here. Once again, nice and clean. I didn't strip the vase and clean it before I tested it. There was no bits of swarf or nothing trapped under there. Quite happy with that. So I'm going to put on the little pieces to give you there to help line the vase up to the bed, just to see how accurate they are. Right, so we've got those little pieces there which fit into that slot, and then they go into there. They aren't an amazingly good fit on my machine, but it will get you certainly somewhere near. Phillips head screws in there. Normally you'd use cap head bolts, but you haven't got to forget this is it's not a curved vase, it's a cheap and cheery Chinese vase. Yep, they're a really good fit in there. There's no tolerance at all. You can also put them in that way. You go into that T slot like that, and that gets your vase. Actually, it feels pretty good. There's a little bit of wiggle on it. We'll put the clock on and see how accurate it is on that jaw there. I don't expect it to be 100%, but I don't expect it to be a million mile away neither. And they're the right size for me. 12mm T-bolts, a 1/2 inch T-bolt, wherever they are. Right, so that's the vase clamped down. It pays you to put the vase offside of the centre, and then move it across that way every now and then, which means you aren't using that part of the bed all the time. Right, we'll bring the clock gauge back in and see how that jaw is lined up compared to the tail. So this test finds out how accurate that jaw there is aligned to my machine. Not the accuracy of the vase, just how accurate those little locating pieces are in there actually. John, you wind the wrong handle, man. Right. That is within 1.5 thou. So that could be bumped in to get absolutely perfect, but like straight out of the box for a quick machining job, 1.5 thou's nothing. At least the sort of machining I do. If you're machining the microns, you wouldn't be buying a Chinese vase, would you? I'm impressed, I'm really impressed. Those sharp edges weren't knocking off. Other than that, what can I say? It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and does it very well. Vase jaws are hard. That will be a simple case just to knock those edges off there. Basically, I'm really impressed. The way that pulls that jaw down is impressive. I don't see what else I can do. I'll put a bit of metal in and we'll machine it. It's the same as the other one. It's got the groove around there, so the coolant runs off the job into that groove and into the table. On my vase it just pisses everywhere. What we'll do, we'll put a slot down it. Right. Make sure it's set home. Cut out a little bit slow there, but it's still put a decent finish on. So this vase now will be stopping on my machine, and I'll be using that. You'll see that being used in most of my videos now, I would think. I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed making it. The question is, would I buy that vase for my workshop? Without a shot of a doubt. I think it's really good value for money. What you're getting here is a real deal. There's no bullshit. That is exactly what it's like. If you look in the introduction box of the video, you'll see a link to this vase and the smaller one and the bigger one. There's also a discount code which makes the vase even cheaper. Anyway, thanks for watching this, and please subscribe.